Up front, Jason Leffler setting a new track record here. 178.037 miles an hour, 40.44 seconds for a new track record, and he starts on the pole for the 10th time now in his career. Chad Chapman on the outside of him.
Row 2 brings up Ted Musgrave. He was last year's pole winner, a very familiar guy up front. Next to him, the first non-Dodge is Carl Edwards in Jack Roush's Ford. Next up, Bill Lester, another good qualifying run for him, and last week's winner, Brendan Gaughan.
In 7th position, previous winner this year, young John Wood. And the first Chevrolet in 8th place, 75 National Rifle Association, David Starr, followed by Terry Cook, Detroit Diesel, Ford, and Mike Skinner, veteran in the Craftsman Truck Series.
Here's a Craftsman track description. You can read the graphic. What is important around here, very smooth, very fast racetrack. It's the one that I love racing on the most of all ovals. Big, wide, swooping corners where aerodynamics come into play. And yes, you can run 5 wide.
This is the place to do it.
If there's any racetrack we go to, if your truck isn't working, you can go find a line and run it. You don't have to have anybody else to run it with you. Although this track, I feel like, Dorsey, will feel the effects of the draft, don't you?
Yeah, you got to draft down these long straightaways, no question about it. But you get in these long corners, and I tell you, it's sometimes better to get 3 or 4 wide, not get the front of your truck underneath the back of somebody else's.
A guy that has an opportunity to win $10,000 for his crew is Jason Leffler, and the Craftsman win from the pole. And we'll be able to ride along with Jason Leffler as well as some of the other trucks today. But Jason has the opportunity to win $10,000 if he's able to win this race after earning the pole from yesterday. Green flag flies, and we are underway with the Sears 200 here at Michigan.
So far they haven't wanted the $10,000, but he's certainly, after today, jumping out into the lead.
And let me tell you something. Jason Leffler not only got the pole, but he smoked them. New track record at 178.03 miles an hour. He's very fast.
And a guy running right up front, his teammate in the number 1, Ted Musgrave, tries to challenge for the lead as they go down the backstretch.
Right, look at the Dodges all teaming up. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
Yeah, they're trying to break the draft right now, moving around a little bit. There's too many Dodges up there to do that, I'm afraid.
Now, we talked about drafting, a big thing at Daytona. Is that going to be as important? Will they get in the line here and work together as far as drafting on this track?
I think teammates will. A lot of times Michigan opens the door for a great fuel mileage race, and I think teammates will help teammates here, especially their particular brand.
3 wide already. I told you it's going to happen, and this is only the first lap.
And this is a wide track, guys. The drivers were talking about how they can run 3 wide through the corners, and we're seeing it right there. Ted Musgrave leads the first lap here at Michigan and earns himself 5 points in that points race.
This might be the best venue that we go to from a fan's aspect of being able to watch and see people race different lines, 3, 4 wide, all the way back. We talked about it all year. We certainly will have that today.
We always talk about a preferred groove around a racetrack. This particular racetrack doesn't necessarily have a preferred groove. You can run fast anywhere up and down that banking.
Guys, we've also talked earlier in the season about how Dodges may not have as good a fuel mileage. Will fuel mileage come into play here at this race?
It certainly could. As we touched on, the racetracks had a history of doing it. In Winston Cup cars, you got the same things here with trucks. It takes fuel to make power. The Dodges certainly had the power. And let's go down to Phil Parsons for more on that.
Yeah, Barry, talking to the guys in the garage here, there's a couple Dodges here that thinks they can get maybe not 50 laps, but think they can run 49. So with a few caution laps, a lot of these guys think they might can go halfway, make this thing on 1 stop. So the Dodgers have worked on fuel mileage in the last few weeks, and they've gained on it. A couple of these guys think they might make it on 1 stop.
And Phil, he's exactly on the money. That's your target here. To go 50 laps, that's a quarter of the way. If you can do that, then you cut a pit stop out of this race.
A lot of these guys talked about setting up their trucks just for the turns because it's so important here. And here goes the pass for the lead. Carl Edwards trying to get in front of the Mopar Dodge number 1. And Carl Edwards is our new leader here in Michigan.
It doesn't look easy, but Chad Chapman is coming too. He saw that opening and dropped down below the 1. So Ted Musgrave is about to be displaced back to 3rd. Here comes Chapman and bringing Leffler with him.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about right there. That's what we were talking about. 11.5 seconds yesterday afternoon in turn 3 and 4 from Unocal ball to Unocal ball. And that's 25% of the racetrack, and you got to capitalize on these corners to be good here at Michigan.
Carl Edwards out in front of Chad Chapman. Now moving up into the 2nd position. Jason Leffler sits back in 3rd. Here at the Michigan International Speedway, the sun was shining yesterday. A little bit of clouds got us started early, but we are definitely underway with the Sears 200. 14 of 100 laps. Carl Edwards out in front. He's just your second leader. The first leader, Ted Musgrave, is falling off the pace a little bit. And with more on that, Phil Parsons.
Yeah, Rick, you're exactly right. I talked to Gene crew chief for Ted Musgrave, and he said what Ted is complaining about a lack of grip, so they're going to let a little air out of all the tires. He's not really complaining about a balance issue, whether pushing or loose. He just said no grip. They're going to let some air out of the tires.
Now, when a driver says that, Barry, it's the funniest feeling, because you're not pushing, you're not tight, and you're not loose. But on the other hand, you can't do anything. You're just sliding all up the racetrack, and you've seen Ted now moving up, trying to find a place where that truck will stick.
Exactly, Dorothy. The only option they would have here is to take the time that they cannot afford on a pit stop to maybe open up the shocks a little bit and put some more bleed into them. But there's nothing they can do except let the air pressure down, because this racetrack is so smooth, you can really tie it down with a shock absorber package. But if you're not careful, it will lose grip, and obviously that's what's happened to Ted.
Now, we've seen Ted have problems early on in the race, but then he's been able to make adjustments and move right back up to the front.
Yeah, that's a veteran, and he's got a good balance between the driver and the crew chief, and they will get it better. In the meantime, what he's doing as a driver is what you can do. He's trying to find a place where the truck will run comfortably. He's been on the bottom. He's been on the top. Somewhere in the middle of that racetrack, he'll find a place where it does the least damage until he can make that pit stop.
And that's the beauty of Michigan that we talked about. There are so many selected grooves out there that a driver can choose. He doesn't really have to have anybody to go with him to feel like he's in a comfortable place if his truck is not very happy at the time. Mopar Dodge, you see it, great view. Look right here, Rick Crawford making it. Look at the paint job on this week. Craftsman, beautiful truck.
They did a good job painting this thing up. It's black, but they got all the red on there, and Craftsman put these chrome wrenches on there, and man, does it look neat.
And then around the wheel wells, they've got saw blades. So I told Rick, I said, be careful when you're passing people. You don't want to knock them right out of the race.
Yeah, and under the hood, they got Yates Pones, and that there's a lot of those.
Yates Ponies here is good on this big 2-mile. I'll tell you what, you need a lot of horsepower. Look right back there, David Starr on his second race after his comeback from his injury. He's coming in here too, and right behind him, Terry Cook.
You're seeing the Chevy there in 13th.
Here's a better look at the number 14 of Rick Crawford.
Beautiful paint job.
And he started way back in 14th position, has moved up to 11th. So Rick Crawford making his move towards the front.
I listened yesterday about on his scanner. I was listening to him. They're trying to get a balance on this truck, and it's tight in the middle, and they keep trying things, but he got it real loose, and his voice went about 2 octaves up, and he said, man, we're going to wreck everybody in this thing if we don't get this fixed.
2 trucks back is Terry Cook. He's currently 9th in the points position and started 9th in this race. With more, Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, the Power Stroke Diesel Ford is loose in the center and tight off, so they've got a compound issue here. Basically, Terry has told his crew chief, Rick Wren, I want to make a track bar adjustment, but let's not go too far, because he said, I'm afraid this track is going to change later on. But right now, 29 is loose in the center and tight off.
That's not a good feeling, Dorsey.
No, that's not good at all, because you're chasing both ends of the thing. It's the tail wagging the dog, so that's not good.
And you're talking, Rick and Dorsey, going off of these corners at 190 mile an hour.
Right. This is
18
serious.
degrees to banking. That's not enough when your truck is not comfortable, but you do have the beauty of the width of the racetrack. See David Starr there trying to make a move forward.
Well, that's Rick Crawford and David Starr, and they've been side by side for 2 laps. I guess finally Rick said, all right, that's enough of this. Let's get this worked out.
Bobby Hamilton in the Square D Dodge back there in the number 4. Bobby Hamilton led our points race for 7 weeks, and then the last 4 races has dropped back, but he's looking to resurrect that run that he's had on the points championship here at Michigan.
They lost their momentum really badly when they blew that motor. He had all top 5 finishes. Things were going pretty good. They had 1 engine failure, and from that point forward, it's just been nothing but a struggle for this team.
With more on Bobby Hamilton, Ray.
Well, guys, just keep in mind to watch that number 4 truck over in turns 3 and 4. That's where he's really struggling. His biggest problem is, he said, when he goes to put on the brakes, the front nose drops down 2 or 3 inches. So he feels like he's got way too much shock travel on the front of that number 4. He's feeling really, really tight when he comes off the corner over there in 4. Hamilton not happy with his chassis right now.
And guys, yesterday we ran practice under the sun. We qualified under the sun, and today it's overcast. How much difference in setup do these guys have to do?
Well, Dorsey's driven here. I've set up a lot of cars, and it seems like it's a tight racetrack anyway. This only adds more grip, and it becomes a tighter issue off the corner. That's where you need all variable downforce on both ends.
And one of the reasons that is that the corners are so long. You know, you get into these corners, you don't have to get out of the throttle very much. And when you get back on the throttle, it transfers your weight off the nose to the back. But there's a lot of corner around that's still left to go, so it just wants to get tighter and tighter.
I tell you who's on the run right now. Robert Presley is up to 4th place. This guy got in the wall, qualifying, still had a great qualifying lap. I feel like he could have been on the front row, but he is on the move. You see him right there in the Melling Dodge.
He's got some bad company around him. He's got Brendan Gaughan right behind him, and of course that's John Wood and Jack Roush's other number 50.
Look at him go. Look at him go. Now he's after that conventional fan blade right there in front of him right now in the Dickey's Dodge, and it's working. But you see quite a bit of tape on the 59. That's petty power under the hood, and they've got a lot of it. And here they come down. See, here they take. See Brendan drop down, ran downhill, got behind Robert, taking advantage of the downhill run through the trial. I know Phil knows what that feels like from racing here before.
Well, we see our top 10 currently has only one Chevrolet amongst them. Out in front, it's Carl Edwards leading here in Michigan. Sides as to tune-ups and everything that they're making change-wise. Carl Edwards still out in front of this one, and he has led the most laps so far, 17 for Carl Edwards. Ted Musgrave started off this race leading 10 laps, and so we've had 2 leaders now.
All I could think about was all the Roush fans and all the people up here in Michigan pulling for us. I mean, it felt great. I told you earlier, I caught myself once looking over at Victory Lane going down the front straight. Man, it just felt that good. But we ended up, Doug Richard and the crew had the truck perfect there at the beginning.
Got a caution on the Speedway. Off of, see a truck slow off turn 2. Yellow is out.
Looks like the 27 of Doug Keller, I believe, slowing down, and so Alan Porter throwing the caution flag out to the field.
And quite a few hot dog wrappers.
That's Stan Boyd actually in the 89.
Talking about fluid on the racetrack right now, Rick. Just sort of report that fluid, so he might have lost a motor or something. We're speculating on that, Stan Boyd.
Lap 27. That's a little over half stop. If I think you're going to see some people on pit road here for fuel, if not tires, but I think they're going to take tires because you're talking right now over 1 can of fuel.
Leffler is in here in the ASE Dodge, the number 2 now. Dennis Conner, his crew chief, told him that the tires they put on right now are going to be a little bit tight, or a little bit loose for a while. He went up on air pressure, and they are going to make a change also on the track bar there. Those guys get their service done. Scott Punch and Marty Houston changing the tires. That will be done. Leffler is done, and he's on his way. And now we go down to the other end of pit road with Phil Parsons.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Robert Presley is in. Greg Conner, crew chief, said no changes on this Melling Dodge. They're just going to change 4 tires. The guys changing the tires, carrying the tires, and jacking are from a school in Mooresville, North Carolina called 5 On 5 Off. This truck does not run regularly, so they have to get these guys from this school. They're doing a great job right now, and Robert Presley is done. Terrific job. Back to you, Ray.
Well, it took a little bit longer than expected for Bobby Hamilton because they pulled a spring rubber out on the Square D Dodge. Bobby has not been happy with that, but maybe this will help his chassis a little bit. He did not advance any on pit road because they had to take that rubber out.
And guys, Phil Parsons made a call earlier about Travis Quapple wanting to get all the points that he can. Well, Travis Quapple didn't come in right there and got the 5 extra bonus points.
Guess what? There he is.
And so Travis Quapple is your leader here at Michigan. He's the 3rd leader we've had. We'll be back with more of the Sears 200.
The kitty litters getting blown out of the way here, Dorsey. Carl Edwards is the only guy down there trying to dry it up, so you know he was going to try to take advantage of the bottom. And you see right here, people getting sorted out, getting a little bit tight right there with Chad Chapin as we go up front here. Jason Leffler, Carl Edwards, Brendan Gaughan. Great race going by Lance Hooper.
Boy, did you see Brendan Gaughan on the backside of 99, Carl Edwards come off that corner? I thought he was going to wag the tail and brush the wall, but he gathered it up.
He did half of it. He wagged the tail.
Wagged, that's for sure.
And here Carl Edwards ducking to the inside of Jason Leffler. He doesn't want to give Jason Leffler any bonus points for leading here at Michigan. He's trying to take away that lead as they come down to the stripe. Jason Leffler and Carl Edwards side by side.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Look, going off turn one, it's not very clean yet, as you see him here. And John Wood looking back there and forth. They're side by side. Watch this drag race down the back stretch, horsepower.
Get out of my way.
Oh, he got loose. He got loose.
He almost got there. Almost had a big problem.
That's worst scenario when you're on the inside like that. All the air is taken off your truck, and you saw Carl Edwards had to backpedal a little bit right now, but here he comes back. This is his favorite corner right here.
And this is what stacked everybody up, and now look what it's done. It's caused a big traffic jam.
Oh, yeah, Presley trying to get up in there. Carl Edwards knows the closest corner to the start-finish line is 3 and 4, and that's the corner he's worked on.
Right, he's going to get that shot off of 4 down to the start-finish line if he needs it. In the meantime, all these guys that made track adjustments or truck adjustments, you see them coming to the front. The two guys that didn't do much are, of course, Carl Edwards and Brendan Gaughan. Gaughan didn't do anything. Half a pound on Edwards.
And Robert Presley, I wouldn't touch that truck either the way he moved up. All he needed this morning was a new decal on the right side. Here we go in the back. Talk about good racing.
Wide.
All the way back.
Wide. Let's go 4.
3 and 4 wide. That's 10th through 14th right there.
More than that now. There comes Crawford.
That's half the field.
Skinner, veteran Mike Skinner down on the bottom. Vocal Clothing, Dodge, Ernie Elliott Power, Bobby Hamilton up top.
That's why I love this racetrack.
Yeah, just go wherever you want to.
That's why I love this place, man. You can just drive it on in there and say,
look at this. Look at this.
3 wide.
That's what I'm talking about.
That is horsepower going by right there, guys.
It'd be nice to tuck in and get a little drafting help here.
There's your boat. There's that's Crawford.
Right.
There's Skinner up front there. Oh, look, coming here.
Dennis Setzer through the middle. Bill Lester on the outside. Rick Crawford on the inside. Dennis Setzer tucks in behind Bill Lester now. We've got a new leader in town, and it's John Wood. Driving the Bob Graham for president number 50. And Brendan Gaughan is chasing behind John Wood, who's our new leader. And that was a little bit different moments ago when Brendan Gaughan was out in front of John Wood. And John Wood made himself known to Brendan Gaughan that he wanted to get by.
Well, I tell you what, these guys have been cutting it up big time for the last 2 or 3 laps.
We'll take a look back at what we call bump drafting here in the Craftsman Truck Series.
This is an old IROC thing. Look at the 50 right here. Push up on the back of 62. Come on, let's go. Push.
Say, hey, Brendan, how about a little tailgate party here in Michigan?
They gave him a 15-mile-an-hour shove up that straightaway. He goes, let's go. But this isn't over yet, folks. I tell you what, that was just the first blow. Now, what happens right there is that the 50 had a good run going on the 62, not enough to pass it before the corner. So instead of losing the run, he ran up, got into the back of the 62, and pushed him up to the same speed, and that ran him right by the other 2.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
man,
put him in. Look at this pack right here.
Look at the one falling backwards through this pack. Big
Musgrave.
trouble. Musgrave.
This is 9th through 12th here.
That's 9th through the other end.
Look at Travis Quapple. Good job getting back up front from coming in and topping off.
That is a good run for him.
Clear all around. I don't know who that could have been.
That's spotter's blind. There's nothing clear about that.
On board with Rick Crawford, currently in 11th position. You see Mike Skinner there in the Vocal number 15 just behind him.
Still outside.
A lot of laps at this racetrack. Good racer.
Oh, look at this.
On the inside, 88 outside.
Aggressive move by Mike Skinner, making the move on Rick Crawford.
You see how he drafted him? He drafted him and got up real close and he's popped out. But I don't think he's got enough motor here.
Look at this camera work. This is awesome, guys.
Good camera.
Look at Skinner in there. Look at there. Pretty awesome right there. Vocal Dodge. See the tape on the front? Quite a bit of tape there, too.
Get out of the way. Oh, look at the oh,
That's Matt Crafton. It's number 88. He got a nose in there.
That was rude. I love it.
Very tight racing. Ray Dunlap, what's going on?
I just wanted to give you a report on that number 15 of Mike Skinner. He said they had a lot of heat build up on his right side tires, and they were very, very loose, so they put some wedge in to try to correct that. Skinner said, boy, whatever you did to this truck, you really fixed it. He's very, very happy with that Vocal Dodge.
And he can get around this place, too. And a good job there by Ray getting us a report, because it was obvious, look, that they had done something. Early on, man, he was riding the high line. A lot of times, Dorsey, it looks like your truck's pushing, but it's not. You're afraid to turn the wheel right.
Heard that yesterday on the scanner during the practice. A lot of guys say, I can't put any wheel in it, which means I can't steal the steering wheel.
we were talking about Mike Skinner earlier in a great battle there with Rick Crawford. Mike Skinner coming back to this series. He had been running in the Winston Cup, and you see 217 starts versus the 53 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, but those 53 were extremely important. 41 top 10s out of those 53 starts.
Yeah, right there is what's important. Pretty much awesome.
Unbelievable running for Mike Skinner, his history here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Very close racing. Bumping and grinding here at Michigan. Leans Dodge
And a new second place.
got by the 50 of John Wood, and now John Wood's partner or teammate has moved back up into second in the 99 of Carl Edwards.
See Crafton there and Musgrave. You know, Brendan used what looked like the old-timey slingshot, Dorsey, off turn 4 when he got the lead a while ago. It was pretty awesome.
He set that up really good. He went high, went low, and then got to run down the hill.
Well, let's take a look at how Brendan Gaughan got out in front.
Watch him down on the bottom right there, the 62. Now he's going to move up. Unless we missed that, I think. Yeah, he just got the
Side there.
Right before that, he had gone up on top and got a run down the hill like you talked about, Barry, to get that momentum on the inside. But he dragged the 99 in there with him, and now the 99 has also gotten by the 50.
Yeah, you think the draft's not working, you see the windshield on the 99 just
shaking,
jumping.
With more on Brendan Gaughan, Phil.
Yeah, Rick, I talked to Shane Wilson, crew chief for Brendan Gaughan, yesterday morning before practice started, and he said, you know, we were so horrible last year. They finished 18th. This is one of our worst races. We really feel like we've gained on our program, feel like we have a better truck here. And sure enough, he was fast right off the truck. You guys saw him take the lead a few moments ago. I asked him a few minutes before he took the lead. I said, Shane, how's the truck? He said, well, it's really pretty good. He said, I think we pulled a little bit too much downforce in it, so we really need a long run on tires. I said, Shane, I don't think you have too much downforce. I think you're just right. And then 2 laps later, he takes the lead. Now, on the other hand, Ted Musgrave, the other end of the spectrum, he's reporting on the radio that he absolutely cannot drive the truck. They took 1.5 pounds of air out of all 4 tires. And Ted Musgrave, the thing is absolutely horrible right now. He cannot drive it. So Ted Musgrave has got to have some work done to his truck.
Can't count him out. It seems like he always fights his way back in. You got Brendan Gaughan up front, Carl Edwards right behind him. They kind of moved out. John Wood still in the picture.
Brendan Gaughan's successes are a big difference from a year ago. 1 win a year ago up to this point. That's 12 races into the season. 3 wins already. He's currently second in the point standings. He was 11th 12 races last year.
Well, he finally learned how to win someplace other than Texas. That's what happened.
Well,
you can only run there so much.
Yeah, the big stat there is where he is in points.
And laps led. He's led over 300 laps already through 12 races this season, where he wasn't up front a lot last year.
Been very, very dominant. And I tell you, you would think that this thing being stabled in Las Vegas, that the wear and tear of the travel would get to this team, but it seems like they're only getting stronger.
Well, if they have as much strength as Brendan Gaughan has as far as intestinal fortitude, forget about it. They'll never get tired. That guy is a
How about this kid behind him right here, Dorsey?
Yeah, and he's running a real free truck, talking about the 99 Carl Edwards. Watch him. He's running a higher line right now because he is real loose.
And, you know, guys, we've talked about this is the midway of the season. The first half of the season, experienced veterans winning. The second half of the season, it's been the young guns. And look which 4 are up front right now. We've got Brendan Gaughan, Carl Edwards, John Wood, and Jason Leffler, all under 30 years old here at Michigan. Coming up, we've just gone past the halfway point here, and we've got people practicing for the pit stops that are going to be coming up here shortly. 100 laps. We've had 7 different lead changes and just 1 caution, so you see the average speed 149 plus miles an hour. Those lap leaders, Brendan Gaughan has led the most laps currently at 19. Carl Edwards leading the second most at 18. And again, we've had 7 different leaders here at Michigan. Matt Crafton in the Menards 88 slowing down on the backstretch.
He's pretty slow, Dorsey. You think he's going to make it in?
I don't know. You know, he's got a long way around here. He's over in turn 3 right now, just entering it, but he doesn't got a lot of speed going.
You see Brendan Gaughan there. I mean, this kid is.
You know what's if I was Racing against him, what I wouldn't like, he didn't do anything to that truck except put fuel in it. Now he's smoking the field, so they've got a combination in the 62.
And guys, Brendan Gaughan right now currently just over 2 seconds ahead of Carl Edwards. Carl Edwards so far this season has the widest margin of victory at 3.5 seconds. And so we have had very close and tight racing all year long.
It's that way every week in the Craftsman Truck Series. I mean, I get so excited about it. There is no better racing in the country. And I think our points race documents that.
In the meantime, Matt Crafton brought the 88 on the pit road, so he's here. Here's a battle for third place between John Wood, though, and Jason Leffler.
2 tires hanging in pretty good, huh, Doyle?
Real good for 2 tires.
So great strategy by Dennis coming up if the caution doesn't fall.
The tires were just a little inconsistent. Our truck was inconsistent. It would go from real loose to tight. And guys did a great job, Dennis, Connor, and everybody. You know, we got him a pole this weekend, and we had a good truck there at the beginning. We just fell off there at the end.
Now Jason Leffler peeks to the inside. The Team ASC Car Quest #2 Dodge.
He had to check up right there to see
With
how
more
to check
Phil.
up.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, bad news for Matt Crafton fans. He has blown up the 88 Chevrolet. 6 out of the last 8 times he raced, he was in the top 10. Really had it going, but unfortunately, his day's going to end early with an engine failure.
So Matt Crafton falling off the track. That makes number 12 trucks that are off of the track right now and off of the pace. Our leader in the Orleans Dodge, number 62, is Brendan Gaughan. We'll be back for those green flag pit stops. Stops have begun here, and that was started by the number 2 of Jason Leffler.
Yeah, he started something going on here. 46 sets are coming in. Travis Quapple in for a 20.5-second stop. Not bad. They may look like they might have made some changes there.
Race coming off of pit road, and Travis Quapple will check up and let Dennis Setzer move ahead. With more, Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, just want to update it. They did put 4 tires on the ASC Dodge for Jason Leffler. His crew chief, Dennis Connor, as I had reported, said if we get in here on lap 70, we're the first one with the fresher tires. We'll make up the ground on them. So that set off a chain reaction. Terry Cook came in the Power Stroke Diesel Ford. His was lap 71. They went up 1.5 rounds on the track bar. He was a bit tied off. They put 4 tires on it also. The 15 Vocal Dodge of Mike Skinner is in right now. A big track bar adjustment for him. Up 3.5 rounds on the 15. They go with 4 tires, and he heads back to the racetrack.
Tell you what, pretty darn good stop there for the 15. 19.5 seconds, and Ray alluded to big track bar. It was about 6 rounds.
And our leader in the Orleans Dodge, number 62, Brendan Gaughan, coming in right now. Down to pit road. And to call this, let's go down to Phil Parsons.
Yeah, guys, just talked to Shane Wilson. He said Brendan saw the fuel pressure fluctuate just a little bit. So they're going to come in and put 4 tires on it.
14, he's going to be almost done.
You hear Shane Wilson talking about to watch the 14 as he's coming in.
3, 2, 1.
These guys are going to put 4 tires on it. Full of fuel. Actually, I think he's going to need just a little bit over 1 can. They were going to try to stay out till lap 79 and put only 1 can in it, and we're even thinking about 2 tires. But when Brendan saw the fuel pressure fluctuate, they decided to come in early. Great job, but a little trouble on the left front, but away he goes.
Wow, and look at the time. 18.5 seconds is a 2-second advantage on the last 2. Ray?
Chad Chaffin is in the Dickies Dodge. Guys, keep in mind that he was really loose when he was right side by side with somebody in traffic. So they go 4 tires, go down around the wedge on the right rear, and they're going to try to get that thing better. Chaffin on his way back to the racetrack as he pitted on lap 75.
Up front, it's Carl Edwards, young Carl Edwards, leading this one. He's already got a win under his belt now. We can't talk about him being winless.
Exactly, and don't think for one instant that's going to be his last one either. There's a lot of talent in that 99 truck. You know what? Brendan Gaughan gave up the lead right there, but he gained a little over 2 seconds on his pit stop. Awesome job by the Orleans crew.
Of course, the 99 was running in 2nd place, so they're going to have to pit in here pretty soon.
And he just went by the start-finish line again.
We got great racing all the way through. Carl Edwards been on a rail all day long on both ends. It looks like he can go where he wants to, Dorsey.
He better come to the gas pumps where he better go.
We got some more people pitting now.
Well, guys, there were 4 guys that stayed out the 75 of David Starr, who's coming in now in the Spears Manufacturing number 75. With more, let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Bobby Hamilton on his way right here in the Square D Dodge. Guys, he will pit. We expect to see the 99 in the very next time these guys get ready to go to work. Bobby Hamilton's guys, Dale Newcomb on the front, Tony Pinkleton on the rear. Stephen Douglas is the jack man. Not a real big adjustment here, all doing it with air pressure. We expect a 99 next time. Now let's check in with Phil.
Yeah, Ray, David Starr's in. They're going to put a pound of air in the right rear tire. The truck's still a little bit tight, but David drove his way up in the top 10. He's got a pretty good run going for the Chevrolets. David Starr's away with 4 tires. Back to you, Ray.
The 99 almost bit his pit right there. Almost missed it, Phil, because the 4 was on his way out. Carl Edwards had to lock up the brakes and get her slid in there, but he did it just the right way because those guys have got it faced inward instead of outward. Everything is okay as they go to work. They're going to go down 1 pound on the left front for air pressure. Carl Edwards will lose about a second or a second and a half because he had to avoid the Ford truck.
And as he is coming down pit road, Brendan Gaughan just goes by the exit of pit road. And so Brendan Gaughan, I believe, will recapture the lead. And Carl Edwards got to catch up.
And what happened there, Dorsey, he took advantage of the fresh tires, as did the 2. Now, this is where part of this lead came from. But Carl, very fortunate to be able to stay in his pit box there, and that's because they are very, very big here in Michigan. They're very safe. He did a great job getting it in, but he had a 21.5-second pit stop versus 18 flat.
Thanks, Billy. That was awfully cool of them back there.
78 laps of the 100 complete. 22 remain. We'll see if the 62 of Brendan Gaughan can stay in front. All of these pit stalls, and so they've got to move around. It's over 300-400 yards long is what pit road is.
They do a good job. I mean, I'd be looking at a moped or something. Let's go down to Ray.
All right, Barry, we've got Doug Richard now. Boy, that was a close call. Did you think maybe you should have held him 1 more lap so you weren't so close to Hamilton?
Well, when I watched it unfold, definitely, you know, that was definitely my fault there. When I saw the 4 getting ready to come in, I should have waited. But 62 truck's really good, but the 50 and the 99, you know, we're running pretty good. We're running second, third. There might be opportunity for us to hook up a little bit here and maybe gain some ground, but it's a good day all in all for the unsponsored Ford.
And not very many adjustments all day long, just a half a pound of air here and there, and that truck's been good all day.
Yeah, the truck's really been good since we unloaded. And that just, you know, that's your hats off to the guys at the shop and the motor room and everyone involved that we can prepare this truck, unload off the truck, and we have hardly changed anything.
Okay, Craftsman close-up down here in the pits for you guys. Doug Richard, the crew chief for the number 99.
Rick, I tell you what, if I'm the rest of the competitors and Dorsey, I wanted to see a yellow. I'm wanting to get caught up to Brendan Gaughan, at least get him in sight.
Well, Brendan, you know, he's clocking out. I mean, he's making up about a half a second a lap on the field as it stands right now. Carl Edwards in second place is 10.3 back. Behind him is teammate John Wood, 12 seconds back. Then the number 1, Musgrave, 12.4 seconds back.
We got
That's
a great
long
race.
way.
Yeah, but other than Brendan, we got a great race right here if we can get them all bunched up. For more on that, down to Phil Parsons.
Yeah, Barry, with Shane Wilson right here. Shane, everywhere you guys were bad last year, you've come here and you've been very, very good. Michigan is another place that you talked about being so bad last year, and you guys are so good this time.
Yeah, we've been working hard. Compound's got a really good body on this thing. Has a lot of downforce. Has a really good front end geometry we've been working on, you know, since Fontana last year. So just putting it all together. We were a little loose yesterday, and it's cooler today. And I mean, the thing come right to us.
You told me, I reported that you told me earlier that you thought before you took the lead, you thought you had a little bit too much downforce. Do you still think you have too much downforce?
Well, yeah, I thought it might have. We had quite a bit of spoiler compared to everybody else, but boy, once we got racing, we've been pretty good, so can't complain.
All right, Shane Wilson looking for another win number 4 this year.
Well, this is the team I said that has the momentum. If anybody in the series, as close as it is, has the momentum, Brendan Gaughan and his team, they've definitely got it working.
Tell you what, you never heard us count out Musgrave. You never heard us count him out because it seems like they always find a way to fix what's wrong and get back to the front. They've done a tremendous job, Gene Need, in this Mopar Dodge.
We made a little bit of an air pressure adjustment, and it wasn't much, just a little bit because it was neutral before. And my God, it was the worst thing in the world. And I don't know, I thought he made great big adjustments, but he said it's just a little air pressure adjustment. So we ran, and finally, you know, came back to a neutral situation, to a little tight at the end of the run. and then we changed 4 tires again, and then went the other way.
He is flying, man. I mean, he's opened up a second a lap, almost about 8 to 9 tenths a lap. I mean, we can forget about him without a caution. He's checked out. But this race for second's getting interesting.
That equates to what Rick's talking about, a good quarter of a lap, a good 25% of this 2-mile oval.
So as Brendan Gaughan is making his way across the start-finish line, 12 seconds later, the field gets to the start-finish line.
And that's bad because there they are right there. They can't even see the leader.
That's
how far
second place, Ted Musgrave in the Mopar Dodge, just crossing the start-finish line now.
He's definitely gotten stronger, Ted has.
And I tell you what, Chad Chapin has also got pulled up into that whole fray. He's now right behind the 50 of John Wood, working on him for what would be 5th place right now.
With 10 laps remaining here at Michigan International Speedway, the race is now for second. Here he is up in front in the Orleans Dodge number 62. And Brendan Gaughan has put over 12 seconds between himself and second place Ted Musgrave. Bill Parsons.
Yeah, I talked to Gene Neat. I said, Gene, what did you do to this thing to make it so much better? He dropped out of the top 10 on that second set of tires. But they'd worked their way back in the top 10 before the pit stop. He said, hey, we were extremely loose. Ted could not drive the truck on that second set of tires. I tightened them up a little bit. And now, even though it's a lot better, it's still a little bit too tight. So Ted Musgrave's complaining about being too tight, but he's driven all the way back up into the second position. Now, Dennis Setzer, the 46 truck. Interesting story on his right front tire changer, Eddie Pearson. Eddie is the son of legendary NASCAR Winston Cup driver David Pearson. Eddie started with his team back in Milwaukee about 4 races ago and then missed the next 2 races. I said, where were you? He said, I went over to England with my dad. Eddie and his dad drove in the Goodwood Festival over in England, and he said it was a chance of a lifetime. I would love to do something like that again. He said, but I'm really glad to get back here working on this 46 truck of Dennis Setzer. So Eddie Pearson back here with Dennis Setzer and Danny Gelcrucci. Glad to have him back.
You talk about history. You know, David Pearson, a lot of great memories here and a lot of trophies.
And the Goodwood Festival over in England is the most cool deal you could ever do in your entire life. Every kind of car ever raced there have been there. All the big drivers.
And let's continue on with history. When Brendan Gaughan crosses the start-finish line, there'll be 3 laps of racing to go. And right now, we're on pace for the fastest ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. The record so far is 144.26 miles an hour, and we're ahead of that, guys.
Look at this right here, the 18, Chad Chapin, making a move on the 9A. Get out of my way. Hey, Ray, what do you got on that 18 truck?
Well, he's really trying to get by that 99. It's very important. Keep in mind his very best finish in this division is a 3rd at Nashville, so he's trying to better that today. Now, Chad will be very busy this evening because he is on his way to Kalamazoo Speedway for a Winston Racing Series event. He's going to be in a match race tonight. Guess who he's got to race against? Brendan Gaughan. He and Brendan are running at Kalamazoo tonight. I'd put my money on Brendan right now if today's race was any indication.
If I was Brendan, I'd take this truck. I'll tell you that. Right now, everybody's saying, throw me a rope.
Well, they need more than a rope. They need a Jayden assist rocket or something.
3 wide as they came out of turn number 4 and going across the start-finish line.
Carl Edwards is just not happy. The 99, not what he wants. Look, the Leffler working on the bottom side. Chad Chapin finally got by him. Best finish we've seen for Chad quite a long time. Great run.
Chad Chapin currently in 3rd position. If he finishes there, as Ray had mentioned, that will tie his career best.
Look at Leffler on the top side, man. He runs that wall around the outside, just gets a huge run down the straightaway.
Jason Leffler makes the pass and moves into 4th position behind the 18 of Chad Chapin.
Jason, stay focused. 1 more to go.
Alan Porter showing them the white flag. 2 miles remain
Hey, you know why we
in
win
this one
races?
here at
Because
Michigan.
You guys are that damn good. That's why we win these things.
And normally, at other races, we hadn't heard Brendan Gaughan talking very much at the end of the race, and him giving praise to his team as he works his way.
That's when you're good, when you can talk on the final lap.
He can knock it out of gear right now.
He works his way through 3 and 4
but a great team.
in the Orleans Dodge number 62.
Nice job, Kevin.
And Brendan Gaughan comes to the start-finish line, the winner of the Sears 200.
Good job, Brendan. Nice job. Good job, driver.
And right there is second place Ted Musgrave, just crossing the start-finish line, almost 12 seconds behind Brendan Gaughan.
Good job, buddy. 4 out of the last 7, 2 in a row.
Don't piss the Orleans team off. I'm telling you, I love these guys to death. This is the greatest team in the Craftsman Truck Series. I love them. Great pit stops, which is what we've been doing all year. That's how we win races. Shane Wilson, Kevin Kerr, and every single one of those guys back there with that Dodge hat on is how we win.
Now, we heard you talk the whole last lap, telling you guys how much you appreciate and how good they were. Was this truck that good today?
This truck is one that finished second in Charlotte, that had a great battle with Ted Musgrave. You know, and Craftsman Truck Series always has great finishes, but once in a while you just got to show them who's, you know, what your team feels like. And man, my team, we got a lot to prove coming from Vegas, and people don't think we can do it. And we're here to prove we can do it on a flat track, big track, it doesn't matter. Short track next week.
We take a look at the Ford top 10 point standings, and we've got a tie up top. Brendan Gaughan and Travis Quapple, both with 2,000 points.
And that's that 5 bonus points that got him up there, Barry.
And we got a heck of a points race, too, at least back to 8th place right here, maybe even farther.
Jason Leffler in 8th position could be leading the points as early as next week. We come back a week from now to IRP, where you got to watch for Dennis Setzer's short track ace. Travis Quapple holds on to the points lead with Brendan Gaughan.